Bueno, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes a todos. Hemos llegado al final de esta Conferencia Internacional de Geografía y Medio Ambiente y, bueno, creo que ya se los comentaron. Mi primer punto para informarles era pedirles que permanecieran, una vez que termine la clausura, permanecieran en el salón para tomarnos la foto oficial de la conferencia. Y en el ánimo de ser rápidos en este proceso de clausura, yo quisiera primero cederle la palabra a Greg Scott, representante de Naciones Unidas, para que nos diera unas palabras.
Gracias. Well, everything's happened somewhere. We've heard that a lot this week. I'm pretty sure that something important happened at Centro Banamex in Mexico City this week. I hope you had a wonderful conference. Did you have a wonderful conference? I'm sure I did, and I think we've all learned a lot in sharing our combined knowledge. I want to just briefly give a bit of a summary of the last 2.5 days, and then, if I may, just make a few thank yous to some people. I know you will agree that we were indeed very privileged to be here over the past 3 days and be hosted by a wonderful organisation. We heard from more than 90 global geospatial experts from national governments, from academia, from the private sector and from international organisations. And they provided us with an extremely stimulating and engaging forum in this International Conference on Geography and Environment, CIGMA2013. It has been, without doubt, a most impressive and stimulating conference. This week we have heard a lot about a number of very topical geospatial topics, and they will continue when we leave today. But we've started a bit of a journey together in Mexico, and I think you will agree that what we covered was incredibly important. Let me just give a bit of an analysis of some of the things we talked about. We talked about some of the best practices in geospatial information and standards, interoperability, and the challenges, excuse me, in their adoption and in their implementation. We talked about geospatial information access and use, including the associated policy requirements and the growing use of mobile technologies, location services, data from the crowd and from the cloud. We were provided with examples of geospatial information collection and production, the means of integrating data from both traditional and non-traditional sources. We saw examples of advanced and quite dynamic mapping systems in very progressive institutions. We also saw some great examples of the very real challenges in just getting information from folders and files that are sitting in a filing cabinet, old records, and how we turn them into knowledge and digital information, and the challenges in doing that in what are less progressive areas and institutions. And this is a common issue we have with developing countries around the world as well, particularly in Africa, Asia Pacific, and even in our region here. We also saw the diversity of the information being collected from sensors, both space-based and also in situ or ground-based sensors. Crowdsourced information, volunteer geographic information, and emerging trends in the use of that information in conjunction with mobile devices. how it's been used and consumed, how we become sensors, and how we're providing information out into that global community. We don't necessarily consider all the policy implications to that. Be that as it may, that is a fact in the modern day we are living in. In line with the theme of the conference, we saw some excellent examples of how geospatial information is a key building block to our geography and our environment, both man-made and natural. We were shown how geospatial information analysis and modelling and the advancement of those capabilities under different themed areas such as disasters, the environment, land use, land administration, statistics, geography, climate change, the green economy, agriculture, and urban vulnerability. And these all give us examples of providing that evidence base to address and inform critical societal issues for our respective governments and also our communities. We also discussed the difficulties associated with communicating and raising the awareness of the value and benefits of geospatial information, particularly to high-level decision makers and the bureaucrats. At the same time, we were able to see many examples and case studies of that value proposition, of how geospatial is important and why place and location does matter. We also heard about the challenges in enticing our youth and our students into geography and into the spatial sciences. And in this regard, I certainly noticed on the first day that the age profile in this conference was significantly younger to what we're accustomed to. And that is a really good signal, particularly here in Mexico. There are a lot more younger people at these sorts of forums, and I encourage that into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that we have this commodity, we have this data and knowledge, something Jack talked about in the opening day. And we also have the instruments, we have the geospatial tools, we have the applications, and we can help drive that future. They are able to provide us with the means to map, model, measure, monitor our geography and our environment at local, national, regional, and even at global levels. In turn, we are then able to provide that enduring evidence base for decision making and for policy makers. That's how it should be. We have this capability, as Fraser just mentioned, to integrate geospatial information into almost anything and everything. But we continue to ask, are those required policy and technology frameworks in place for us to act upon this integrated geography? Perhaps we're not there yet. We're well and truly on the path, and many countries are mature in that path. Many are not. And this is why it's important for us to consider that, particularly from the perspective of a global community. It's an area where we need to place more emphasis as we make our evolutionary steps of change. It will require us to continue to work together, to collaborate and to cooperate. And importantly, for us to continue to learn from each other and share our knowledge and experiences. This is why conferences such as this are so important. Through our speaker program and all of our ad hoc meetings and networking during the tea breaks and the lunch breaks, that we have shared our collective experiences and knowledge amongst ourselves and our professional peers. And in doing so, I believe we have individually and collectively learnt a lot more. For this, we have some very important people to thank. And as I mention some of these, I would like you to join me in thanking them and be a bit more interactive in this process. Firstly, to our hosts, the National Institute of Statistics and Geography, NECI, to its president, Dr. Eduardo Soho, and the incredible INEGI staff, the team that has realised what was just a concept just over a year away. It was an ambitious concept. The success of this CIGMA conference is, I believe, without question, and it has set a benchmark on the global stage. But we all know that such conferences do not just happen. Many months of preparation, planning, and dedicated and energetic staff have gone into the execution of this event. And you will agree they have done a brilliant job. Please join me in thanking Team INEGI. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Craig. Creo que has hecho un espléndido resumen del contenido de la información que se vertió en esta conferencia y sobre la importancia de la integración de esta información geográfica a la vida cotidiana. En el Instituto hemos iniciado todo este proceso de impulsar de manera significativa la información geoespacial, la información geográfica, la información de medio ambiente y cómo hacer toda esa conexión con lo que tiene que ver con la estadística y con la vida diaria. No queremos suspender todo este proceso que hemos iniciado y en pláticas con el presidente del instituto estuvimos en contacto con una empresa dedicada a la información geoespacial, al desarrollo de cursos, seminarios, eventos, y hemos logrado hacer una combinación y proponer para el próximo año una conferencia en México durante el mes de septiembre. Quiero pedirle a Sanjay Kumar de la empresa Geospatial si puede regalarnos 3 minutos para hacer la información que estamos proponiendo para el 2014 y hacer una invitación a todos ustedes para continuar dando este impulso a la información geoespacial y a su uso aquí en nuestro país. Sanjay.
Thank you very much, and very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to join Greg in complimenting a wonderful organization of this conference. Well, I organize 15 conferences in a year, so I know how much it takes to develop a conference like this. And the presence of almost 500 people in the closing session talks about the value and interest about this conference. So I want to compliment and commend INEGI team and all the delegates for having taken this opportunity to learn and network and exchange ideas with each other. Thank you very much. Well, I represent Geospatial Media and Communications, which is a media company and have been in this business of last 15 years to promote geospatial technologies around the world. We are headquartered in India and have our branch offices in Malaysia, Dubai, South Africa, Amsterdam, and Rio de Janeiro. Our business has been to promote geospatial technologies around the world. While promoting these technologies, we have a very important mandate, which is to not only create awareness, but to act as a catalyst for policy advocacy and creating business development platforms, connecting and facilitating collaboration between various stakeholders of geospatial industry as a whole. And when I say geospatial industry, I mean, and I do involve government, private sector, academic institutions, and the most important, users. So, pursuing our objectives of building a global knowledge network, we initiated a conference in Latin America and Brazil in 2011, known as Latin America Geospatial Forum. And I would like to thank Brazilian government and PC IDEA, which joined hands with us in 2011 to create a Geospatial Forum for Latin America. The objective of this forum was primarily to strengthen and facilitate collaboration between the regional geospatial communities, at the same time connecting with political as well as administrative leadership in this region, and bring forward a platform which is not only a platform for collaboration between the geospatial community of Latin America, but also showcase the latest technology trends and best practices around the world. So pursuing further, we are very pleased to announce that we'll be hosting Latin America Geospatial Forum 2014 in Mexico City on 22nd to 25th of September in this city. And I would like to request and invite all of you to join us for that conference, which we are organizing in partnership with INEGI, and we will bring together several more partners who will enrich the overall agenda and participation in that momentum which has been created here. We would like to carry forward this momentum and contribute towards gaining this momentum for a better qualitative governance and development process in this region. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Sanjay. Y como lo mencionó, no debemos desaprovechar este momento, y mucho más que nuestro país es copresidente de los esfuerzos de expertos sobre información geoespacial que está desempeñando y desarrollando Naciones Unidas para poder lograr toda la conjunción de la información geoespacial y poder tener un espacio dentro de Naciones Unidas. Finalmente quiero darles una relación de nuestra numeralia en este evento. Comentarles que tuvimos un total de 94 ponencias, 6 ponencias magistrales y 86 en sesiones simultáneas, de las cuales 50 fueron de nuestro país, 50 nacionales y 45 fueron sesiones de extranjeros que vinieron especialmente a esta conferencia, a los cuales a los 96 les agradezco y a nombre de CIGMA y del Instituto su participación y el haberse tomado el tiempo para estar con nosotros mostrando todos sus conocimientos y enseñándonos todas las cosas que ustedes ya saben y que han aplicado en sus países. Asistieron a este evento, y lo comentábamos previo a la inauguración el domingo en la tarde, que estábamos revisando todos los pormenores de la inauguración. Vimos el salón, el salón de magistrales, y pues la verdad es que sí nos asustó un poco el ver la cantidad de sillas que estaban puestas, y luego nos preguntamos, ¿lo vamos a llenar o no lo vamos a llenar, no? Van a venir los suficientes asistentes, los suficientes invitados que nos confirmaron por internet. Y déjenme decirles con gran satisfacción que tuvimos participantes, un total de 894 participantes, 259 fueron mujeres, 635 hombres, académicos vinieron 214, del sector privado 127 y público en general, y asistentes fueron 552. Creo que en esta primer conferencia internacional de geografía y medio ambiente que nos ha tocado llevar a cabo en el instituto, la verdad es que creo que ha sido un gran éxito. Estamos muy contentos en el instituto. Yo quiero agradecer a todo el equipo que participó. En primer lugar, pues al presidente del INEGI, porque pues, se animó en este proyecto, a Carlos Guerrero, el director general, que también impulsó fuertemente todo este proceso, y a todo el equipo que participó en este tema. Gracias a Naciones Unidas por colaborar con nosotros y ser copatrocinadores. Pues bueno, no me resta más que darles las gracias, decirles que nos vemos el año que viene, y muchas gracias por su asistencia, y estamos en el instituto para servirles. Muchas gracias.